Buckle up, man, because the portal is getting fun. West Virginia could be flipping one of the biggest portal commitments maybe in the history of our program. Incredible news today. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am the host. This is Locked On West Virginia, man. And what good news to wake up to today. Now, nothing in stone yet, but we are going to be talking about the West Virginia Mountaineers. And at this point, it's looking really good from people I've spoken to. And I was on this yesterday. Some people are not happy with me, but I made a vague tweet yesterday about one of the best players in the portal, being very interested in West Virginia. And then they jumped all over me because he hadn't technically decommitted yet. So I was like, hold on. So I tried to make it about somebody else, but some people caught on. Either way, man, what news this is already today, right? So if you're not familiar with what's going on, first of all, thank you guys for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network where we talk about your team every single day. Let's talk about this, man, as we move into some really big news for the basketball program. And then also a Michigan linebacker is to visit West Virginia. Also, an All-American linebacker is going to visit West Virginia, one of the very best in the portal. Things are really ramping up here. If you're not going to be here every single day, you're going to miss out on something because both sports are colliding. Worlds are colliding, guys. So it's going to be nuts going forward here. So if you're not here, you might miss out on something. I'm not saying other people don't cover it well, but I cover it every day. Nobody else can say that. I'm here every single day, 7 days a week. So if you want to get caught up on this stuff, man, I know you guys want me to shut up. So let's go. Treyson Eaglestaff, and I've got a comprehensive breakdown. Spent the last 2 hours studying his game. Spent about an hour on the football players. Not enough time, but enough. I've got a little bit of highlightage from the football players that we'll talk about. But so far, people that I've spoken to today, and then it's been confirmed by Jeff Goodman as well today, that Treyson Eaglestaff is the favorite right now to land in West Virginia. And you might want to ask yourself, who is Treyson Eaglestaff? I keep saying Eagleson. Forgive me, guys. Well, let's share screen really quick so you guys can get a look at the kid because the offer list is it's insanity. Kentucky, Michigan, St. John's, Kansas, LSU, Alabama, Mississippi State, Washington, Gonzaga, UCLA, Ole Miss, Syracuse, USC, Minnesota, TCU, Georgia, Wake Forest, South Carolina, Villanova, Oklahoma, Colorado, Iowa, Vanderbilt, West Virginia. This is a 6'6", possibly 6'7" elite scoring wing. Better than Tucker DeVries, in my opinion, last year in some ways. Very similar player to Tucker. I wouldn't say that he's as big as Tucker from a girth standpoint, but they have, they're almost clones of each other in a lot of ways. I do think this kid's a better overall scorer, but Tucker's a better defender. We'll get into that. So I'll go into my breakdown now as we move forward with this. I have a breakdown that's really long on him, so just be prepared as I find it here. Okay, so he's 6'6", 670, 109 pounds. He's from Bismarck, North Dakota, so he's leaving his home, guys, to do this. He's a high-impact guy, right? He's drawn interest, like I said, from Kansas, Kentucky, Gonzaga, Iowa, before initially committing to South Carolina, but now West Virginia is back in it. Here's what I was told from them, is that a member of his camp and Coach Hodge are very close. That's what we know. So there's a connection here. That's what we know, guys. So, and that's also come out today, by the way. His 24-25 season was one to really remember. 41.6% field goal percentage for a guy that shoots it a lot is really good. His three-point percentage was right around 36%, which is very good. Free throw percentage, 77%, which is good. His effective field goal percentage is approximately 49.5%, which is an estimate based on three-point percentage and field goal percentage combined. So that's what they call effective field goal percentage. You'll see it a lot. His true shooting percentage, which is factoring in free throws, is right around 52.8. So he's really heavy on the three-point shooting. About 50% of his shot attempts are from three. Mid-range jumpers and shots at the rim do make up the rest. From my tape study, he averaged right at basically 19 points a game, 18.9 points per game, right around 3 rebounds per game, right around 2.5 assists per game, a little over a steal a game, about a half a block per game, two turnovers per game, which is a big part of his game that needs fixing. And that was in about 33 minutes a game. His usage rate was extremely high. I don't see it being as high as 25 to 28% at West Virginia, unless we just add no more players, and then it'll just be he and Huff. But that reflects his role at North Dakota, being their primary option. He's an elite shot maker with the capital E. He's got deep range 3-point shots that are he's capable of hitting, contested off the dribble. He's comfortable from pulling up well beyond NBA range. He thrives in high volume shooting roles where he gets the load, where he comes off handoffs, he comes off screens. They ISO him. I've actually got the numbers here. So 10 of his threes came from 25 feet or deeper, which is freaking crazy. That's what last year Tucker had 18 like that. So it just gives you, he's in that range, but not quite as many as Tucker had. He's got different speeds on his shot release, which absolutely, you just don't see it a lot. You don't see it a lot. So on his mid-range pull-ups, you'll see it's a really, really controlled looking shot. On some of these shots, man, it's gone, and you can't even see the release. So he can change the release timing up based on if somebody's a good shot blocker, based off if somebody's a good defender, based off if somebody's closing the distance. So that's something I really thought was interesting that you just don't see a lot. Usually people have one speed on their, not always, but a lot of guys only have one speed on their release. So I thought that was kind of cool. Right or left hand, it doesn't matter. So ISO, he was at North Dakota State, or North Dakota, don't forget, but they ISO'd him 12% of the time. That's quite a bit. Ball screened him 18% of the time. And 12% of his shots were from in transition. The rest of his stuff were either from three or at the rim. He can finish with either hand at the rim. He's an elite shot maker at all three levels. It doesn't matter right or left hand at the rim. It doesn't matter if it's mid-range. It doesn't matter if it's three. He's got NBA level skill at those positions. Now, he's got a lot to work on, and we'll get to that here in a minute, but let's continue to praise the kid because he's earned it. And like I said, as of right now, we look like the favorite. Doesn't mean we stay the favorite. We heard today BYU could get involved. There's some teams that have a little bit deeper pockets than us could get involved. I'm told this deal could go upwards of $1.5 to $2 million. It's going to be more than Honor Huff's was, obviously, and probably going to make up close to 50% of our budget between those two players, if not close. I don't know this for sure. This is just speculation, but this is what a few of us that talk to different people have gotten together and talked about. Like, well, it's probably, we think we have right around $5 or $6 million to spend. So, which is not terrible. But it's, is it top 25? No. So, he can score off the catch, off the dribble, off isolation, off the shot. He's really good. If you just needed a guy to catch and shoot, oh my God, he'd be the best in the conference at that. He's really good in catch and shoot situations. He hit a lot of clutch shots for North Dakota. He's got a 6'8", 6'9" wingspan. He's got quickness, but he doesn't have great speed. He's not an elite athlete. He's not going to jump and bounce his head off the rim. His shots get blocked at the rim quite a bit, but a lot of times they're goaltends because he's so long and lanky. He usually gets to the backboard first. He's got really good decision-making when facilitating as a secondary playmaker, I've noticed. Very good passer. He had a 16% passing percentage, which is really good. He reads defenses extremely well. So if he's in a mismatch or anything like that, he's really good at exploiting those people in situations like that. And he basically carried North Dakota. He had some of the biggest games, guys. He had 40 points against Alabama. He had 50 points against another team. So he's had just insanely high scoring outputs in games. He relies heavily on length and athleticism on defense, but he can struggle with lateral quickness against elite guards. So, in my opinion, he needs to improve on his ball discipline to avoid fouls and avoid getting beat off the dribble. In the Big 12, that's going to be really hard. At 190 pounds, he's extremely lean and can get bumped off his spot by stronger wings, or when finishing through contact is another thing that I saw that, I don't know. I think that's one of his weaknesses. So adding muscle could improve his ability to absorb and contact finish at the rim. So, he'll have time to do that if he commits to it. Not saying he will or he won't, but I mean, in 6 months you can add 10 pounds of muscle, which would make a world of difference in his game. And then you're talking about him being an asset, because from an IQ standpoint, he's got the ability to be a really good defender. But it hasn't shown up on tape a bunch. He has been what people would consider a deficiency at times on defense. And so the question people have is, okay, you pair him with Honor Huff. Is this backcourt going to be bad? I don't know. Or is this guard lineup going to be bad? I don't know. So I think it's going to be one of those things we have to answer, and really consider. 32 points versus Denver, 28 points. He had 28 versus Iowa State, guys. We know how good Iowa State is on defense. He went 9 of 18 from the field, 5 of 9 for 3. He had 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. And he kept him really competitive against Iowa State. Like I said, he had 32 versus Denver, 40 versus Alabama. So he's shown the ability to really take over games. On my impact meter, which I'm unveiling on this episode, it's a 42 out of 50. My impact meter goes up to 50, and here's how I have it broken down. Offensive impact is 20 out of 25. His scoring prowess, which is 18.9 points per game, 36% from three, and his ability to create his own shot make him a high-level offensive weapon, in my opinion. His deep range and clutch scoring translate extremely well to the Big 12. His efficiency, which is 41.6% field goal percentage and shot selection, do need a little refinement. His defensive impact is a 10 out of 15 because his length and athleticism allow him to guard multiple spots, but he's not a lockdown defender, so he needs to improve his lateral quickness and discipline so he can elevate his two-way potential. If he wants to get to the NBA, he's going to have to do that. His intangibles and fit, I have a 12 out of 10 because it's just that good. His experience as a high-usage scorer at North Dakota prepares him for a significant role at WVU. His work ethic and ability to perform in big games add value, but he'll need to adapt to a more competitive environment. His lean frame and all that is the kind of my biggest worry, right? Under Ross Hodge, he's gonna have to really get better at defense if that's what it ends up being. If he ends up coming to West Virginia. So, he talked about the decommitment from South Carolina being a difficult decision and all that. And I do believe that the players they've added, different things with South Carolina was the issue here. That's what we were told. So, we've heard that from other people as well. Let's go to break really quick, guys. I went over here in this segment. On the other side, I'll finish my thoughts about Eaglestaff, and then we'll get on to some of these visits coming in. I could do a whole nother episode on just these visits. We've got 3 linebackers coming in, and I could do more, but I just chose to do linebackers because they're all so good. Every one of these linebackers would be an impact add. We'll talk about them next, but we'll finish Eaglestaff right after this break on Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by FanDuel, y'all. That's right. We talk about FanDuel here because, did you know, the NBA playoffs are almost here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join, FanDuel can help you place your first $5 bet, and you'll get $250 in bonus bets. That's if you win. From 3-pointers to assists and steals, FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets. Do it today. Oh, it's segment 2, and we're going to crack a dew because is this not the perfect color dew to drink today because of North Texas mean green, and then North Dakota I mean, it's this color, man. This is the color of dew, and it's meant to be. If you look at North Dakota and North Texas uniform colors, they're like almost identical. So the color of dew. I'm going to write a book called The Color of Dew. Probably corny, I know. Somebody's probably cringing on the other side of the screen. All right. So did we really? Okay. I got to keep going here. I can't watch the chat. You guys distract the heck out of me. If you're going to put breaking news, guys, in the chat, make sure you include the full thought in there. That way I don't get distracted. Okay. So where do I start on these linebackers? Well, let me finish up Eaglestaff first. Sorry, guys. I'm getting all clustered here. So I just want to say we know that this is a very fluid situation. He's already flipped from an SEC place in South Carolina that was paying him well, we're told, and that the big concern was the players surrounding him and the style. So, it sounds like he likes the additions at West Virginia so far, and then there's a connection with Ross Hodge already. Doesn't mean that BYU or Kentucky couldn't slide in there. All we're told that Kentucky's kind of out now, and that maybe BYU and other teams are like way out there that could slide in. As of right now, there are people who put it 9.5 out of 10, 9 out of 10 competence meters that West Virginia isn't going to get this kid. I've been told that, I'll just be honest, man. Our guy, man. We've had this new staff has really done a good job. I mean, we really have. But Coach Forte, can we just give Phil Forte some credit here? We heard he led we heard he was in the lead on this Huff thing, and now we're hearing, at least I've heard some whispers that say he's in the lead on this again. If Forte gets us both Huff and Eaglestaff in one offseason, somebody needs to give him a pay raise, because those are two elite ads for us, offensive ads. It's pretty big news. So, but this is a fluid situation. This is how I want to finish this. It's a fluid situation. Could West Virginia miss on him at the end of the day? I think it's possible for sure. But I do think West Virginia at this very moment is by far the front runner. But as we know, somebody could come in with an extra $1 million we don't have, and it's over. So I think we need to lock him down quick. I think the personal connection matters here. We saw it with Braden Smith. Guys will take discounts if they believe in what's going on there. So if West Virginia can keep it close, I think they're going to get him. All right, let's move on here. We'll do one player, go to break, and do the other two. Let's start out with, I think, the least impactful one, only because he hasn't played in college yet. But Michigan linebacker, which that in and of itself is like, okay, that gets your ears pricked up. He was a 4-star kid. Jason Hewlett, 6'3", 227 pounds, although they're saying here they think he's grown an inch since he's been in college and could be 6'4", 227 pounds. This is from my tape study. He's got the size and experience to play multiple positions, but he's most likely going to project in that hybrid safety linebacker spot, or he could play on the edge. He has the size and ball skills to be like a flex kind of player, but man, does he hit. He can hit, dude. And he is a very good player. There's a reason that Michigan's cutting him, though, is because he's young, right? I don't know that – him coming on a visit to West Virginia is great. I don't think that he's going to be priority, only because the other two guys that are coming are they've got so much experience. Now, maybe they throw this kid a scholarship because West Virginia doesn't get this kind of kid often that has Michigan, and that could be. But like his tape, first of all, he could have played D1 at a bunch of positions. He played quarterback. He played wide receiver. He played running back. He is an extremely good athlete, and he could slim down and be a pure safety. He could bulk up and be a linebacker, but they're going to tweener him in between because I do think that's his best position. It's going to be interesting to see. I think West Virginia got a shot here. Anytime we say all the time, and you guys have probably heard this said over the years, anytime we get somebody to come to West Virginia, we got a shot. We feel good when we get people to Morgantown because there's something about Morgantown. There's something about West Virginia. So keep an eye on him, guys. I do have a breakdown of him. Let me get it here really quick. I'll give you my impact meter as well. So, all right. So his background is Youngstown, Ohio. He was a 4-star kid coming out, and he committed to Michigan over offers from Kentucky, NC State, Boston College, Virginia Tech, and West Virginia. And there's actually pictures of him holding a West Virginia jersey with his name on it. Like I said, he's that hybrid linebacker safety. 3 years of eligibility remaining. He's a red shirt last year, or in 23, where he was a true freshman. He played in 9 games last year, primarily on special teams, and recorded 3 tackles against Northwestern at linebacker. So he had limited defensive snaps. 6'3", 227. So he's got that safety-like speed and he's got a track background as well. And he's got some explosiveness, man, and that pursuit angles and all that. He's really good with that. Like I said, he has high school experience at quarterback, wide receiver, safety, linebacker, punt returns. Like, he did everything, guys. He's a great in pass coverage. He's really good in run coverage as far as high school tape goes. So West Virginia's 3-3-5 is going to need versatile athletes like him, and he's going to help against Big 12 offenses. And I think he would be a really solid add. I've got him 35 out of 50 on the meter. So it'll be interesting to see. He definitely excelled on special teams early while developing into a situational defender, especially on passing downs. We'll see if that's the route they go. But definitely a Michigan player coming to visit. That's exciting, right? So let's go to break on the other side, and this is a real quick break. On the other side, though, let's talk about the big names because we got an All-American coming in that really, his tape is amazing. I'm going to play you a quick snippet of that tape. And then we got another kid. Like, both these guys have uber production, and you're going to love them both. Stick around. This is Locked On West Virginia. All right, guys, we are back here, Locked On West Virginia in segment 3. If you're just joining, we talked about Eaglestaff earlier in the first segment. You might have to go back and watch that all over again, but we feel really good about his commitment to West Virginia possibly happening sometime in the next 24 to 48 hours. It could happen anytime. I don't have the inside track on when, but I know it's likely. And I know West Virginia's a million plus on that thing. So we'll see what happens. This next guy, I would consider him the second most impactful of the 3. And we spoke a lot yesterday, Shay Taylor and myself. So I said, hey, Shay, congrats on all the love. I see West Virginia offers. Where did things stand? Are you coming on a visit? He said, finalizing a date for a visit now. And that's since been finalized. So, one big piece of news that I've kind of held off on until now was Cam Rice, the defensive lineman that is also at Ohio University with Shay Taylor. Shay told me yesterday that they're going to try to combine their visits and come together. As you guys know, Cam Rice is sought after by everybody. Tennessee, he's literally got everybody and their mom looking after him. Didn't start out that way. If somebody had jumped on him early, maybe they'd have got him. But at this point, just because he's from West Virginia, are we getting a shot at him? And he's going to come with Shay. So this is a double whammy on this visit. And here's what you need to know about Shay, though, guys. First of all, I love this. I think he would come in and play and possibly start. There's a good chance of it. So let me get to my page here on him. All right. So he's 6'2", 230 pounds. He's really a great run defender. He is so good in run situations, and it's what a sure tackler he is. Given MAC competition, sometimes it's hard to know how a guy's going to land, at a place. But man, this kid he's got so much production. I mean, he's had just an insane amount of production in his career that, you have to think that it's going to translate. And when you watch the tape, I love what I see. I do. I think he's, the main thing that pops off the screen, in my opinion, with him is the smarts. Man, he is a smart dude. He outsmarts people as you see, like kind of like I'm trying to think of a good comparison. But I think you look at this production, some of the production he's had, and that's where you really kind of get excited, which I have lost here. He was an all-conference linebacker. Let's see, can I find it? The production, where is it? Somehow I've lost the production stats that I had all here. Third team all-conference in the MAC. He's 6'3", 230, he says. Anyway, he had over 100 tackles, a lot of production. It's a lot, starting linebacker for a really good team at Ohio U. So let's keep an eye on him. And obviously Cam Rice coming along will be enormous. If you could get Cam Rice, that's a 50 out of 50 on the meter. Shea Taylor, I have listed as, right around, where is it? I've got him listed as a 38 out of 50 on the thing, because I don't know how it's all going to translate. That's just the biggest part of it. So we'll see what happens with him. Wishing him the best, and let's hope we get him. So let's show you guys this last one, though. This is the one I've been saving, and I did have a conversation with Gary before the show today. If you saw my tweet earlier, he did tell me his visitation date, and we're talking about Gary Bryant, an All-American, All-Conference linebacker that, from South Dakota, that is an absolute monster on the field. I personally think, and I'm going to show you some video really quick. This is what, this is the kind of tape I love to study. This is how you get a really good look at a player and can tell what they do well and what they don't do well. So, yeah, we got you on here. Here he is, number 10. This is versus Wisconsin, right? So watch this dude's instincts. Watch how he plays linebacker. Like he's a man amongst boys on the field. Watch him scrape. You see how savvy he is here as he scrapes and the hole opens. This is obviously on a stretch run play zone blocking scheme. Is it gonna? What do I do? Unless I did something wrong there. Well, looks like I messed something up, didn't I? Sorry, y'all. Well, okay, there we go. And on that stretch play, he hits right in the hole, makes a nice hit. For those listening on podcasts, I'm going to try to describe it as best I can. Here he is again, scraping, and then he gets into the hole, makes a nice tackle. Here he is against, I think this is also Wisconsin, just absolutely blowing a play up in the pass game with a nice play, tipping the ball. Here he is dropping back into pass coverage and just laying the wood to somebody. Here he is, and this is him playing in the middle, which I don't know if he would play in the middle for us or on the off ball, but he's just a smart, savvy player. Here he is against Notre Dame. You think that's a pretty good judge of talent against Notre Dame? Interception. So, I mean, he really has a lot to like. Production-wise, that's where you really start to see, like, okay, this dude has done some things. So as a sophomore last year, he had 103 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 4 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions. That's pretty good, right? Pro Football Focus grade of 84.5. And he was a high-volume tackler, obviously. For a knack for finding the ball, excels in run defense, which is vital for a middle linebacker. He has playmaking ability, obviously, with those 2 interceptions and 4 PBUs. So he's got great instincts for a linebacker. This is the FCS level, and I understand that. But at 6'2", 230 pounds, that's a big kid that you can definitely plug into a Big 12 defense. The FCS to FBS transition obviously requires adjusting and an adjustment phase. But based on how he's played against Power 4 competition in the past, I like him. I think he's a 42.5 out of 5. That's what I think. I think he's an immediate contributor. His tackle volume and playmaking skills, man, and West Virginia has a need. We need linebackers, right? Like we've got some guys there, but we lost some guys, some really good players in Josiah and Trey Lathan, right? Josiah Trotter and Trey Lathan. So do I think he'd come in and take Reed's job or Chase Wilson's job? I'm not saying that, but I think he'd have a shot to come in and start. So let's keep an eye on him as well. This is a kid that's an All-American. You can always use those. And look, he's got USC on his visit list. He's got it's not just us. It's USC, it's Michigan State, it's everybody. So keep an eye on this, guys, as we move through this portal era. This is going to be by far one of the most hectic portal eras that we've had. And I'm here for it, baby. And I'm here for you for it. I've got Dylan, I've got Raven, I've got Shaq, I've got other people helping me really pour through all these names, because if I could show you the 3 or 4 group chats that I'm in, and they're all dedicated to giving me info for me to reach out to and try to find these kids. I'm only one person and I can't get them all, but I would say at this point, I'm probably into the 50s for today, something like that. As far as, oh, that player's cool. West Virginia reached out to him. Oh, that player's cool. And that's across football and basketball. So it's a wild time, y'all, and I appreciate you for joining in. The Discord link is in the chat. I'm going to have somebody post it on X. Maybe Raven or Dylan can post it over on X, and I'll repost it here in a minute after the show. But make sure you find that Discord link. They knew about Cam Rice yesterday. They knew about Shea yesterday. They knew about a lot of things yesterday, a lot of things that I'm talking about today. So, I may not have all the information, but I've got a lot. And if you want to know it, for free for right now, I could make it paid at any time. And there's a lot of people that would pay for it. I enjoy, I know how it is. If you like to be in the know as best you can, I'm not saying I say this a lot, but I don't pretend to be the most in the know. I don't pretend to be Kasaza, or I don't pretend to be like university connected. I don't get to go to the press conferences, but I work my ass off for what I get, and I don't mind sharing it as long as I'm able to. Like the Eaglestaff thing, I couldn't share till today, and people will either believe that or they won't, which is fine. It's the same thing whenever I did the Xavier Bosley or the Pat White, right? I bring those up a lot because I got a lot of flack for them, especially the Pat White. That was 2 weeks before he even mentioned it, and I started to doubt it. So this has been fun. Let's hope Eaglestaff announces, guys. As soon as he does, I'll be here for you. If any of these guys commit or visit or anything, we'll do episodes on it. You don't have to be worried about that. And it's going to be an exciting time, like I said. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that, interact with the show, and I'll see you guys later today or on the next one. Until then, though, I don't have much else to say except let's go Mountaineers, man, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day, guys. I'm out.